So where you from, Craig?
50 states, 23 countries. Born in Austria.
Wait, how in the world are you from 50 states and what?
My old man was an Army colonel for 32 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you must have some interesting stories.
Bullet holes, all sorts of stuff.
What's that?
Been shot 3 times.
Whoa.
By Daddy.
Really?
Once with a 22, once with rock salt, and once with a 30-30.
Wow.
30-30 missed my head by about 2 inches. He was about 86 years old. I came back from the movie theater 8 minutes after 12. And to get into the house, you had to push the garage door opener, unlock 2 deadbolts, and then unlock the back door and go into the kitchen. And when I opened up the kitchen door and crawled in, the back of my hair stood up. And I ducked as I went into the kitchen, and he blew a hole through that door and it got stopped by the garage wall, which was double concrete block. Otherwise, he'd probably shot the neighbor sitting in his living room table in the next house over.
Jeez.
And the first time was with rock salt, and he shot all 3 of his boys at about 100 yards with rock salt.
What?
Because the night before, Mark had went out with his birthday present, which was a noisy contraption that you pumped up.
This is your older brother?
Yeah. And we sat up on the hill in the holler like 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. And all the neighbors would drive up the holler, and he'd pump that thing up and pull the trigger and see how many of them stopped to see where their flat tire was. Well, he wasn't cool to do it once or twice. We did it like 15 times till midnight.
Of course.
Yeah. So the next day, one of the neighbors stopped at the second house on the left, which was Dad's father's house, had a conversation with Grandpa Charlie, who had a conversation with Daddy, who immediately walked into the back room and grabbed his 39-inch long shotgun, and Grandpa threw him 2 cartridges with rock salt in them, which he used to shoot the foxes that were chasing the chickens. And we were probably at the end of this bridge up the holler, and he cut loose with both barrels and shot all 3 of us in the half with that rock salt. That wasn't as bad as the ass whooping the day after with the rock salt still stuck in my ass. And that was Daddy.
Good God.
That was when I was 6. The last one, I was 50-something when he shot me with the 30-30. That's all right. It's a circle for a good reason. You got me talking.
It is. I'm sorry.
That one's on you.
Good thing there you go. Good thing we're on the circle.
Yeah.
All right. So you were 50. You said the first time you were 6. The second one you were 50.
Yeah, the middle one with the 22, he blew out my kneecap because I started to call him an effing idiot. We were arguing over oligopolies. And I didn't know he was on his 3rd pitcher of martinis. I thought he was still on his 1st, and I walked out to the target and turned around, and it was about from here to that telephone pole, and he blew one through my kneecap right there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was a cantankerous old bastard.
You've survived.
I buried him and Mom. Big brother came up with some bullshit about you got to sell everything you own and live in 400 square feet. And it could cost you $85,000 a year. So I got a phone call that said, okay, we're not going to nursing home, so you got to bury us. So that took 7 years of my life. He passed away in 2011. Mama passed away in 2014. He made it to 11 days before his 90th birthday.
Jeez.
And Mama, she had full-blown Parkinson's. She hung out for another 2 years after that. Didn't go until she was after 90.
Yeah,
but they were married for, 69 years. Married her in 1923. No. That's when he was born. They married her in 1947, April.
Wow.
And had 4 kids, and he was a full bird colonel for 32 years.
What was his bread and butter?
Retired to Florida. Drank for 10 years. Non-stop every day. Big brothers were already out. I got the joy of that one from 11 to 18.
You were there by it. They were 8. You were 8 years
brothers
separated.
Were gone.
Yeah.
Then it was all me then. So I had to come back from Riddle and go find him because he was getting drunk and disappearing for 3 or 4 days at a time. Got him to quit drinking once when he was like 60. I don't remember how old it was.
But that was it. You couldn't help him other than that one time, or didn't? I mean, it didn't work.
It wasn't an option.
Straight, yeah, this would be the way. It's up here on the right, correct? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's intense. I'm so sorry to hear you had to go through all that.
It's bullshit. That was peachy. If I had a bad life, I'd be worried about it. That was nothing compared to some of the crap the rest of my family's been through.
Yeah.
I got a sister died before my mother. Her husband died in like 6 months. He went from having 1 brain tumor to having like 23
Jeez.
in 6 months and passed away. And then Sherry didn't last long after that. Mama outlived Sherry. Mama was the last of 5 daughters. And my grandfather on mother's side was the guy that invented the anti-aircraft rockets for Britain during World War II. And if I got rid of, oh my gosh, 11 or 12 of the royal family, my daughters would be Queen of England. Because grandmother's bloodline goes back to Queen Mary's
No
time.
way.
Yeah. Last name is Gilbert.
Yeah. I guess I'll hop out of here. Well, it's been very
Enjoy them.
Interesting stories.
Yeah,
I'm
you
really
asked
sorry.
for it. Nothing
Take care of yourself. All
Later.
right.
Yeah.
It's very great talking to you.
All right, man. Have a good trip.
You too.
Welcome to Student of Life, the game show.
That was Craig, the Uber driver, with some intense stories. Just to give you a little background on a little part of it that might have been confusing when he was talking. I was trying to correct him on driving around the circle, where, you know, one of those circles that you drive around where you can make several different right turns. He went all the way around the circle without making any of the right turns. So that was that part of it. And I was being a backseat driver like I normally am on these things. Next up, to close our show, we're going to rejoin my friend that I was talking to at Odds Cafe one day to close out our conversation. And I just find this part of the conversation fascinating because it is about reuniting with family members she didn't even know she had. And Odds Cafe is in West Asheville, nice little coffee shop. That's that. So enjoy the rest of the program.
Happened to me last year.
Happening last year.
I found out that my daddy, who died when I was 6, was really not my daddy. And I found out through Ancestry DNA because this woman contacted me who's my sister. And
You didn't know.
No.
She's like, hey, we gotta talk.
No, well,
She's
she
like, I got
knew
news
not
for
to
you.
freak me out. So she came
She's like,
and
let's
said,
meet in person.
She came and said, hey, you know, we're a close relative on Ancestry DNA. I was like, oh, okay. And I thought she was a cousin or something. And then we were looking at the numbers. And then I thought maybe she was like auntie or something. But my grandfather was kind of old, so I didn't know how that happened. And then she said, no, can't be an auntie because of this and this and this. And then I was like,
Is this in person?
no, this is all
on the phone?
not even on the phone.
Email.
This is all email and text messages because I'm not talking to this girl.
Where she live?
She's in Atlanta. So then I said, well, maybe my daddy cheated. I said, well, maybe my mom had a baby, you know. No, I said maybe my daddy cheated, but then she's 10 years younger than me, and he died when I was 6. So he can't be your daddy. So then I was like, well, maybe my mama had a baby, but I don't remember her leaving and having, she never left for any long period of time. Gradually, I understood, oh my God, my daddy's not my daddy.
Oh my God.
So that put me, and this is in the middle of all my surgeries and stuff. So I went, last year was hard. And found out I had a sister. And then we did some research, and we found out we have another sister and a brother. And then we found my daddy. So,
and did this sister that first contacted you, did she know her dad? Y'all's dad?
She was given up for adoption, so she didn't know our dad.
But the other two that you met eventually, they knew your dad?
They were raised with my dad, yes.
Okay, and then so you met your dad. You met your real...
No.
Not yet.
I have met my sister in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I talked to my sister that's in Texas. And my sister in Atlanta, we all talk and text and stuff.
Wow.
And my brother's in Louisiana. I gotta see if he's okay. And my
you said
daddy,
you gotta see if he's okay?
Yeah, I didn't know he had moved west. I'm gonna check on him. And my dad is in Arkansas. And I called him.
You call him?
Yeah.
So you're gonna meet him face to face soon?
Eventually.
That's so sweet. I mean, it's wild.
It was wild.
Wild,
Dude.
but then it turns out you have all these new family members you didn't know about. It's sad that you missed out this whole time, but at least now you're able to connect.
Yeah, but the emotional angst of trying to figure out who am I
Had to be crazy.
It was awful. It was awful. Thank you. It was so bad. It was not good.
So now you're close with your new siblings?
Not my brother.
Okay.
Because he's just interesting. But I'm close with my new sisters. But I already had a sister from my mom.
Okay.
So
have you, and now did that sister from your mom, these are either half, or
they're
these?
nothing to her.
They're nothing to her. Oh, because it was just your dad. These are new half siblings that
Yeah.
you from your dad's side. Okay.
Yeah.
But they're nothing, but in a weird way, they're like stepsisters or something.
Nothing.
Right? Well, at any rate, I think that's really cool that you have new siblings. 4.
No,
3. And the dad.
And my daddy, yeah.
And you lost your other dad when you were only 6.
Yeah.
But now you have you have your biological dad that just came into your life. So you talked to him on the phone, you said.
I talked to him on the phone.
How many times have you talked to him on the phone? And when did you first talk to him on the phone? Like how long ago?
I was talking to my sisters first. It takes me a long time to add people to my life. Remember we talked about the love thing?
Yeah.
So I talked to him for the first time maybe 6 weeks ago.
Whoa. That is incredible.
And what's funny is that I'm just like my dad, and he did not raise me. I did not know he existed.
Did he even know you existed?
No. My mama didn't tell him.
Because she was married, and do you think she told?
Nope. My daddy was my.
He thought
her husband was my daddy. Because my dad was. He was only. Okay, my mom was 21 when they met. He was only 17. And she was already married with a baby. And she had already lost a second baby. So that was my mom. So he was a kid, and he was a kid. She was young. And then she left. They worked together. Well, she's from Mississippi, but they met in Illinois, and they worked together for maybe 6-8 months. And then she left and went back home to her husband. And I had to be, she couldn't have been more than a week or 2 pregnant. So.
Wow.
But I am so much like my dad. Like personality-wise.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I've always done that my family thought I was crazy and this and that.
Now you know what.
My dad does all of that. The way I see the world is the way we see the world.
So you have to I mean, obviously, you explain why you're being slow about it because this is you. You understand yourself now. But you're going to eventually meet him face to face, I would think, right? It's gonna be
Eventually.
sweet.
Yeah.
Aw. I think that's a great thing.
It will be, but it's still the angst of like I had.
The pressure, right? Like it's like
Well, my mom, from my mom, I have a sister and a brother. I had two sisters and a brother. One died, so I had one brother and one sister, and so that was my family. And then when I got my half other sisters, I became a half sister. So
Right.
it cut it cut my family. It cut my place in my
this
family.
whole time you thought your siblings growing up were 100%,
My siblings.
and now you're finding out they're only half.
Right, and that changes. People don't understand the ginormity of that
Yeah.
because it changes my family with my dad's side too. Not my real dad,
Right.
the dad I thought. His sisters and brothers, my aunts and uncles, they're not. They have no blood connection to me, and so.
Right. Even your whole life, you thought these were your blood aunts, your blood cousins, your blood this and
Right,
that.
and they're not. And when my brother and my sister, like somebody just gave a picture of our dad to my brothers.
Your dad you grew up with.
Yeah. See what I mean? Like it gets complicated. My mom's husband. Somebody just gave a picture of my mom's husband to my brother, and he shared it with all of us on Facebook. And I was like, oh, so that's dad. And then I had to remember that's not your dad. So I'm not part of that journey with them anymore. When they talk about their dad, I'm not there. So it literally took me off my family tree.
Right.
And
So even though there's this joy of having new family members, you, like you're saying, it took away some of the
took
previous
away some of my family.
Right.
And
or at least the connection, that
Yeah.
family connection you have with those people.
yeah, and
I'm sure they still love you as family. It's
they
just
still love me, but we don't have the same roots anymore. I mean, part of family is the fact that you have the same roots, you have the same identity, and I don't have that now, you know. And I haven't been a part of this family long enough to have an identity with the new family. So it left me, and I still feel a little like I'm in limbo on who I am, because I don't know his side of the family. I'm not really a part of this side of the family. I mean, like, I'm not showing up for family reunions for my mother's husband
side, right?
because I'm not, you know. So when he sent the picture, I kept having to catch myself, like, I'm like, oh, dad, this and that, whatever. And I ended up breaking down in Starbucks. It was awful, dude. It was so bad. Oh. So it's going to be great, but it's not great right now. And I just,
It's big,
it's
but
still
it's not.
big.
But it's difficult right now.
It's still difficult. Because I just don't have history, you know. Like, I have a whole bunch of aunties and uncles that I don't know, might never meet. I mean, that's a whole family is a big deal.